a family and
This meeting is being recorded.
More details on how to be the better of ourselves and being able to replicate same to others around us. And because it's what you think of yourself, you transfer, you infer to other persons. And so we're going to discuss on something very, very, you might have been hearing, you might have been taught about it, but just open your heart to see probably if you get something meaningful to add to numerous things we know. Right, so I'm sharing with us tonight on a topic that says building from quality to quantity. Perhaps it looks strange, or what is it talking about? What do you mean by quality? What do you mean by quantities and all of that? But permit me to show us something very importantly, that building a business, behind any business success lies a great team. This formula applies to startups as much as it does to home-based and relationship business. And a team is to allow an endeavor to grow, scale, and strive in a way that will be literally impossible for one person to do. In other words, it is a power of leverage. So understand that power of leverage. Now, a successful business, a successful team starts with sourcing, please don't underline that, sourcing the right people, or we call it players, those who value working towards a common goal or goal-oriented and have respect for relationship that most businesses require. Once the right people are in place, the goal is to bring them together into a cohesive unit. But how do you do that? If you have not started by understanding quality to quantities. But why is it so important to build from quality to quantity? Now, let me say this very importantly. We may need to understand that the world is dominated by numerous people. It's what you are looking for that determines where you go. And where you go, of course, determine how you should make up yourself because of the type of people you are meeting. But among others, we have misplacement of priorities on time. Some people we may think will be the best player in our system may not be because we've not started from quality, as it were. The strength of your team and the success you record in your business is not determined by the number of people you have in your organization. It's solely dependent on what single individual command there. So what do I need to do? I need to have more of those type of people who are team players than just have numerous people. Now, I've met friends and people around. It's as if you are doing and you are doing and you are doing and you are doing and it's not working. Why? Because activity is not direct proportionate to productivity. It is the quality of activities that determine the productivity. So most time we get carried away. You can spend 20 hours in a day doing one thing, but what is the quality of attention within that period? So, in other words, you can have a team of 10 players that will massively move mountain more than a team of 1,000 people. I commonly say this. If you are building a business or as an individual growing up and you are to start a business and you do not have at least 20 quality people that you can do like this and bank on them to say, okay, I'm going to start a business and I will pick this, I know they will like it, then you've not started. So building from quality to quantity is a very big thing. Let me use an example. If some of us who have been in stock those days, and there's this aspect I love so much, any company that I'm buying a stock, or you want to be a shareholder, I go quickly to the prospectus of the company. And in the prospectus of the company, there are clauses they will put. But in the AGM, there's a meeting that will be conducted to elect the new chairman of the shares. So the shareholders now have to elect. Then there's what we call voting right. In the voting right, most of us normally say this, majority carry the vote. That's not true. If it's like that, then you do not need to count by saying the one with God is the majority. So it means it doesn't matter the number of people there, but the one with God. So you are now looking at the quality of person you are standing with is important, not the quantities of people you have. Now, in the AGM, many persons get carried away by the general saying that the majority carry the votes, equality before the law, and all of those quoting until the election is to be conducted. And we have many persons who have assured, a particular candidate that don't worry, we give you all our votes. You are going to emerge as the new chairman, don't worry. And there go a man who is just one single soul. And then he was assuring another person that, do not worry, I'm right behind you. Now, physically speaking, if there's any English like that, the person who looks back and sees the multitude behind him is going to say, yeah, I am there. After all, majority carried the vote. And the other one was assuring this one that, don't worry, I'm right behind you. And very often, most shareholders are almost ignorant of reading detail in between the lines of the clauses in the prospectus. Just like in Constitution, we said the most powerful part of the Constitution are the silent features that you cannot just interpret on the surface, and that's where the clause is, and that's where the lawyer will win the case. Then election is to be conducted. That's when the people to conduct are going to say, please turn to page 7 of paragraph A, article 7 of the prospectus of this company. Having written that every year of our AGM meeting, an election will be conducted for the executive member of this board, and the chairman will be drawn from the person with the highest vote. Majority carries the vote. Quite unfortunate. Now we're going to draw a reference. You have well understood that the number of shares that equate to one voting power is 5,000 pieces of shares per voting power. There, you have 1,000 people actually who have promised Felix to be the chairman of the board. And when you put together, some of them have 5 units, some of them have 10 units, some of them have 20 units, in that order. Unfortunately, when they collect the 1,000 people stock all together, the total voting power it could give when we merge together was giving just 3 voting power. And one single soul have more than 100,000 units of the shares. And then 100,000 units divided by 5, you know how many voting power was going to give. Now, this is the problem. The election is going to be announced. And I said, the person who emerged was this person this other man was supporting. Why? Is the majority not carrying the vote? No. It's just a general saying. It is not practicable. It is the quality of the number. So if the majority are not in their quality, then there will be problem. Then if the single is in its quality, it will be recognized. Now, on the surface, you're going to say the election was manipulated. That is not true. It is the quality of the majority that determines the winning and not the quantity of the majority. So majority, in a sense, is not defined by the number of people, but the quality of the quantities of the people. So now we say, why is it important to build from quality to quantity? Now, even the most innovative entrepreneurs, please take note, cannot scale from an idea to actualize success without the help of a team. There is simply too much work for one person to do alone. As good as business ideas might be, it cannot be a proper business without a dynamic team. Now, working cohesively to execute a shared business goal is as important as nurturing your own biological children. You know, if I digress a little, we talk something in psychology, right? And in that, we call it psychology of classroom. They call one factor nurture versus nature. There are biological traits, hereditary traits. So the hereditary state or trait in a child is actually dominant. Now, one thing that have the power to either twist it, make it, mold it, you know, and bring it out to the full state is the nurture. So, in other words, as business, it are living organisms that requires the right set of players to. It is not enough, just like what we said, what is good does not sell itself. You know, that's the general proverb. They say, you know, we make those funny mistakes. They say, good thing sell itself. It's a lie. It does not. Good thing does not sell itself. Nobody will identify it if it's not being unveiled. So never make that mistake. Good thing sell itself. After all, it's not true. So your business team you assemble so contain complementary skill sets so that the full group of people can accomplish tasks that you as a team leader could not do on your own. But you must understand that he that starts with you may not end with you, just as the people that will go far with you may not stress you. Now take note of this. While building your business, if there's anything you should write down and you should expect, is disappointment. So when you write it down and you expect it, when eventually it comes, you will not be disappointed. So the better way to solve disappointment is to expect it. So when it comes, you are not surprised. Just like our father in faith will say, I'm not surprised where we are. I would have been surprised if we are not there. That is preparation. And that is what is the quality of input has it put into this. So I can't put this quality in and not finding this type of result. Now, steps to build from quality to quantity. I've just told us, it is not the number of people you gather on the street into your business that determine. It is the quality of the people you gather. In other words, you are permitted to talk to everybody, but it is not important for everybody to be with you. Now, if you have that mindset, and while you are there, you must understand this factor that there are numerous people. As much as we know in the world, you can have more of drivers than the number of pilots. Why? Anybody can drive. Anybody can wake up any day and carry vehicle and all of that because they say they go to driving school. Anybody cannot fly an aircraft. So in aviation industry, it will be a barbaric for them for pilots in a driving school. So when they go out, they sort for pilots. So we can have numerous drivers, but we have few pilots. Reason, pilots take instructions. Drivers say, we learn. They teach me. No, in the aviation school, it is by instruction they fly, not by teaching. So in other words, for you to do something effective and be very effective in it, you must, as a matter of fact, understand how to take instruction. So in other words, for you to take your business to the next level, you have to look for people who can take instructions. So quality is a predominant factor to build a lasting business. If you don't build from quality to quantities, in the time of turbulence, they will all wither. It's on that note, relationship business is built and not just being called. It is built consciously and over time. It is a progressive building. So if it's progressive, you must sorting among many. And I use another example. Why building from quality to quantity? Because there are many chickens, but there are fewer eagles. So as a person who wants to take your business to the next level, you are permitted to go in the midst of the chickens, but let your eye be single to get the eagles. The chickens will be everywhere, and the chickens can be distracted at any second. But when you get chickens can come when you permitted him to become eagles. If it's not coming, you drop him and face get chickens. But it's rare to get eagles. But once you get one eagle, two eagles, then nurture those two eagles to get eagles like themselves. Please, I'm not saying this to undermine anybody, but you must understand that you are in a business that is a living organism, that you are growing to have an expected end. So if you must get your goal achieved, you must sort by building from quality to quantity. In other words, you don't get carried away. Sometimes you attend seminars or you organize seminars. 1,000 people will be in a meeting. Please don't let it be a factor or yardstick for the success of that seminar. In marketing or in what we call sponsor ad on social media, we can broadcast to many places on the catchment area, but what that person is looking for, we call something converted. So we have spread it. So how many conversion do we have? You say no single conversion. I say no, it's no, it's void, it's not effective. You have to change to another pattern. In other words, everyone who spread it then is sorting for the right players into the system. So quality to quantities is not by number of people you get, it's by the quality of the individual you get that is ready to replicate himself. Give yourself 2 years, give yourself 1 year, you get 2 quality eagles, and the eagles too is ready to do the same thing over and over again. Then you understand the power of leverage. If not, I will tell you, if you build the other way around, from quantities to quality, you may not see. So you sort from the quantities, however, so there are many chickens. Sort the eagles from the chickens. Now let's go very quickly. Steps to build from quality to quantity. Now look at this picture. I'm sure we've seen this picture. This is diamond. All right? This is diamond. And sometimes we tell you build like a diamond. Look at diamond. Now, if you look at this picture, keenly, let me show you. This is a diamond. The beginning of a diamond is thin, but it's as strong as normal foundation. Now, the foundation of a diamond is very thin, but it stands. Why? Let me show you why it stands.
Hey, the oracle. Hello, sir.
I beg
Okay.
your pardon, please. Okay, I beg your pardon. Go. So please let me go back to the reading. I say what makes up diamond is the quality of its replicated quantity and not the quantity of its pieces. That is why the spherical surface does not affect the narrow base. It made its base strong from the beginning, knowing fully well it will gather its kind. So in other words, diamond had its base very narrow, but strong, and it kept replicating from that. However, it gets spherical, it gets wider, it gets round, it gets run over, and what happened at the end of the day? Every part of it is strong because it's from quality to quantities. When you are so concerned about the quantities, you may miss the quality. So you have to be conscious of the qualities and match many qualities together. So independently, for the fact that the base is narrowed, each of its layers are strong as the base, and they are independent ways without packing loads on the base, and that's why they could strand. So building from quality to quantity is as building like a diamond. In other words, what a coincidence. That is, if you are building your sapphire, that is the first place your mind should be is how to be a diamond. So that means that rank was not a coincidence. It may be a pre-planned stuff. Why? They expect you to build from quality to quantities. And when that is replicated over and over again, you have a formidable form of a team, strong, and then be able to withstand any time, any circumstances at any time. In other words, having known that I need to build from quality to quantity, what are the things I need to do? Number one, starting your business, because you are building from quality to quantity, you must establish expectation from day one. Now, once expectation is given, you are able to you are conscious at every time. How do you, palpitate expectation from day one? The moment you set a goal or set an expectation, you should be able to count how many hours are you working towards that goal every day. You don't just wake up now, I just say, let me just move now. No. You have said, okay, this is the time for prospecting. This is the time to read more about my business. This is the time to search more about blockchain, cryptocurrency. This is the time to do that. Okay, this is the time to do. You must establish an expectation and work towards it as much as possible. Number two, always build a bridge of relationships. And in other words, that is the name we call here. Many of you thought it was out of place to use this thing. We call it prospecting. We say always build a bridge of relationship. Listen, prospecting is a process by which an island to another island try to create a bridge in the valley so that they can interact. So the first time or the adventure that will bring you and somebody together, you just make sure you build a bridge. You connect to just create a relationship. And if that is in your mind, you always, everywhere you find yourself, you will want to build a bridge. But please take note, the day you build the bridge is not the day to send a carrier to pass through it. After all, you have to allow the concrete to be dried off very well, possibly pour more water for it to be strong, then you can bring your truck. So not the day you build the bridge that you Understand the difference between prospecting and sponsoring. I've told you prospecting is building a bridge. Sponsoring is closing a deal. Not everyone that you prospect that is sponsorable at a given time. So understand that a time will come, if you are really building from quality to quantities, some you are prospected will sponsor themselves over time. So differentiate sponsoring and prospecting together. The person you are meant to be prospecting, don't sponsor him. The person you are meant to be sponsoring, don't prospect him. Example, there are persons you have built relationship with and all of that. To start speaking, you know this business, I just want to, let me explain how the business works. A person you have established a concrete relationship with and you have known, you know, his whatever. What you are doing at that time is that, well, I want you to take advantage of this thing. You know, there are different languages of using that, but you don't waste too much time trying to explain everything to him. In the process of explaining everything to that person, you mess up the whole thing. Well, I just got a business and I'm there and I want to take advantage of it. At least if you cannot do the big package, you can do this package and all of that. Because it was ripe for sponsoring, you have prospected him for a very long time. While you were prospecting him, you never knew that it was even this business you are doing that you'll be doing. So in other words, you must always prospect to have relationship on ground, awaiting business opportunity to come. Number 4, communicate, communicate, communicate. What do we mean? What is communication? Communication is a process of establishing understanding. In other words, communication is a two-way traffic. We call communication effective one is to talk the way people will listen and listen the way people talk. There are expectations people have from you. You give them listening ear and listen to them to know how to talk to them. So communication that is effective is talk the way people will listen and listen the way people talk. So you don't just come communicating to somebody or you don't talk to somebody because you can speak plenty grammar. The more you speak big grammar, the more he's tired of listening to you. So you listen to him and then communicate to him in his language that he will understand. You are meeting somebody, you may not interact about your business, then while you're interacting, he's begin to say some things, then you know where to talk to him. So communication is very effective when you listen the way people talk and you talk the way people will listen. Because they have talked, you now know what to say to him. Just like Ambassador was talking about something, if I go for evangelism, you go to the midst of gangsters that don't even care anything. And then you got there and say, oh, my ladies and gentlemen, God, Jesus love you. You're so wonderful and all of that. It's a ganja man. You reach there, that's why they say, when you get to Rome, you do like Romans. Sometimes I go for evangelism when I see fantastic boys that, you know, the devil is still toiling around their destinies, which I know they are wonderful people that God will still make use of. I will say, oh boy, what did they happen and what for you? You know, why did you do like this? You know, and they say, hey, you did here. Now let me get there and speak one for them. They will worse me slap. Now you say these people are bad people. No, you have not listened the way they talk so that you can talk the way they will listen. Next, respect your team members as individuals. Respect is reciprocal. Accord it to each person the way they are. Respect them, respect their opinions and all of that. That does not make you less effective in your business. You just listen to them. Oh, is that so? And all of that cheerfully. Because you are building an ecosystem. You are building a team so that you can interact. Sometimes when you do that, they learn from what you do. And then you'll be able to go, you know, expanding more and more as much as possible. Next, practice emotional intelligence. There's what we call positive reinforcement in psychology. Most time you don't just track on people's emotion at all. You interact to like want to get and then you don't move against his emotion eventually, then he's able to let out certain cards to you. There are certain secrets with some persons. If you don't practice emotional intelligence and you just step in on their intelligence all the time, they will hold on and they will not want to show to you. So it is important. Then look for a way to reward hard work or good work. That is reinforcement. You know, you just find a way to, stuff like that, just because you know now that you are building a group, it's like a crew of people who will, say, common goal. Then you become a body, and then you begin to like practice some things. Wow. But please, yet while doing that, discipline must be observed. Because sometimes when people say, he's a very good guy, I normally say something, please forgive me. It is not enough to be nice and not be productive. In fact, it would have been better even if you are not nice, but you are productive. Eventually, people can still manage you. But if you are nice and you are not productive, when people will be tired of you, oh my goodness. So there's no story you will tell. It's just that because I'm nice, people are taking advantage of me, and you cannot produce anything. Nobody will listen to you later. So let it be, yes, fine. So you are rewarding people, not just like because you have a lot of money, you just want that about. No. People have done some fantastic thing, you just reinforce them, and then, just to have a sense of belonging. Find a team you trust. Now, you are not undermining anybody, but know where to assign people based on the trust you have on them. Over time, some that have some level of distrust may be able to catch up later, but if you just been emotional that this person is close to me for that, no. It's not about trust. Trust does not mean that he's a criminal or he steals. You trust his capacity that he can deliver that thing. And so find them, assign that, with them, because you trust that they can deliver around that area. That will help you. And now sometimes people think, I will wait until my team is so big before I do all of those things. No. As you start with it, practice will help you. Finally, diversify your strategy and be greedy from the beginning. I know this one will surprise a lot of people. Say, what is he talking about? Wow. And greed is a wicked thing. Listen to me. Stress is not bad. We have positive and negative stress. Stress, many people say, you are stressed up. No, sometimes say, no, it's not good to be stressed up. It's not true. Stress itself does not kill. It is your approach to stress or the source of stress that kills. For instance, maybe bad news just came. That's one source of stress. As it just came, and somebody you broke the news to, oh, is that so? Well, we thank God. Glory be to God. At least God will always give room for us to thank him. Is that what happened? Well, we thank God that what happened. Who knows what will have happened? That is stress coming. Now, he smile, he begin to give glory to God again and say, wow, why did this thing happen? He begin to think about it. That's a positive stress because he's going to look for why did this thing happen? He begin to look for solution. He begin to look at the strategy and diversification and all of that. Look at another person. Oh my goodness, so thing that just collapsed. My God! That's an approach. Now, that is a negative approach to bad news. And that is not to negative stress or what we call bad stress. So when we talk about greed, you say greed is not good. Then, just like somebody was saying sometime, they say it's not good for, why do they arrest people for drug trafficking? Cocaine, marijuana, and all of that. And there are people who are licensed to carry it because it's being used for another thing, positive things, right? But being abused is what is bad, but they use it. But do you know that sometimes some people up to now, when you talk about cocaine, they thought it's just totally bad. It's not used for anything. They thought it's just, and then people begin to investigate. That's what they thought, cocaine, because of the impression they have created in their mind. So diversify your strategy. And I will explain this greed. When you start your project, just like many of us are in Zenith now, as you start, you will not rest. You are greedy. As you start, you are everywhere. That is what aircraft does. The most greedy thing for startup is aircraft. It consumes all the speed. If you are in the front of aircraft when it's on the runway to take off, it will cross you. A greedy man can do anything to destroy you because you are against him. Somebody will say, are you teaching us to be wicked and kill? No. You must be aggressive. That's greed. And that greed, selfishness, is that be greedy to want to get everything. I mean, everything. You know why? When that speed starts, it is when you get to the altitude, you know that if you were not greedy from the beginning, there were things you would have missed woefully because you were not greedy from the beginning. So diversify your strategy by learning, searching more knowledge about your business, like we're in Zinc, we're in cryptocurrency-based ecosystem. It is expedient that at least once in a week, you're able to dedicate one day or a period to read more about blockchain, to read more and begin to learn more so that you strengthen yourself and be able to communicate that to your team so that they can know, oh, we don't know what we are doing. Good thing if it's being mismarketed, it will be wrongly delivered and people will not appreciate it. And what will make you to market something effectively is your knowledge base about the products. So it's a good thing does not sell itself, only what is well marketed. And then what is being marketed, if it's wrongly marketed by a wrong person, even if that thing is good, nobody will appreciate it. So ladies and gentlemen, in summary, as you start your business, be greedy, be aggressive, so that you can get to the altitude. When other things are happening, the next cycle of activities within the ecosystem will take you off to the next altitude, take you to the next altitude. So that's why people will come and ask you, are you sure this guy is not using something? Just tell them you were greedy from the beginning. Now, lastly, guys, don't waste your power in a wrong place. Once you are greedy, now look at it. When your team starts, because remember what you are doing is to build from quality to quantity. When you are building from quantity to qualities, it's more stressful. You will do over motivation. You will do a lot of things. The people will not understand. When you are building from quantities to quality, that's why people to say, hey, are we not his downline? If not be we, go grow rich where he reach, because you are growing from quantity to quality. You're actually looking for quality people, but you gather quantities. By the time we stop, we will see how it will grow. These are quantities. But there's a sense of responsibility that he knows that I am the head of my immediate team. So I must do well to make it. So if I must do well, I must build it. So building is not my own plan responsibility. What it's doing for me is just support. So he's responsible for his own business. And so, sometimes we look at all of us. I love what look at Zinc, for instance. Let somebody, let ambassador now sit down there and he's not building. Say, I have some downlines. I hope you know overtaking is allowed. He will be there and then he will see that somebody become a diamond, double diamond, black diamond, all manner of diamond. Because why? Everyone, because diamond is interconnected with different qualities. So it is not about the quantity, it is the quality in replicated quantities. So you don't stay there and say, if not we, the downline, he will reach there. See, the beautiful one are not yet born. Even if the ugly one refuses to die, there are people who will still come and be aggressive more than even when you started. That is why we say, when good message are spread over and more than enough, it will get to the right people. So the wrong mindset is that when you gather quantities without building intentionally from qualities, you begin to have those issues, and we are at this stage, and my upline does not call me. If to say call me now, I want him to follow. I'm not saying you should not help your downlines. And I'm not saying you should not call your upline for any assistance you can do. But when you start your business and you begin to recruiting people with the mindset of, don't worry, I will give you this, I will give you this, everything. That is, you are bringing them and making them lazy. Once those things are not coming again, they relax. So keep sense of responsibility from day one when you gather your people. That is what we mean by building from quality to quantities. Thank you very much, Ambassador, for the time.
Yeah, thank you so much, the Oracle of Cryptocurrency. That is